Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Thanks for being here today. I'd like to welcome everybody to the People's Church Sunday service of Divine Prophecy. Just to start with, a couple of housekeeping rules. Please silence your cell phones unless you're medical or law enforcement personnel. Bathrooms are down the hall, quick right, quick left. And thank you all again for spending part of this wonderful day here today. I'd like to have you lit the candles yet, May? Would you like to light the candles to start the service?
Join me.
I don't think it's got a safety on it. Thank you. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the first hymn. Dear Father God, we give thanks for this moment in time. May we feel the peace and harmony that is here for us today. May we feel your true presence, healing and hope that comes with it. And may we share those in words and acts as we move forward. We ask this in all sincerity and honesty. Amen. Next portion is a thought for the day from the pastor. This is where I speak about something that's come across my mind in meditation in the past week. Yes, a lot of what I was thinking about this week was how to keep calm in spirit when everything around you is disrupted or major things around you are in disruption. My tendency is to let that drive my action when I'm disturbed physically. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, if I was really a spiritual person, I wouldn't be disturbed, but that's just not true. We're all human beings. We're all going to be affected by human situations and events in our lives. So I started thinking about what the truth about a spiritual relationship is, if it's not true that you don't have to be personally calm to have a spiritual relationship. And what came to me is it's kind of like a relationship that you really value in your life, a personal relationship, either a significant other, mother, father, somebody like that that's a very dear relationship to you, a dear friend. You always have a connection to them of a happy nature and a joyous nature. The whole world can be around you in disruption and disaster. And as long as you have that connection to that person of trust, of happiness, of joy, your life can be calm in that particular area. That can be your port in the storm. So all the difficulties around you don't necessarily affect that relationship. That's kind of like the relationship you develop with God and Spirit. It's one of trust, it's one of belief, it's one of joy and happiness that you can draw to no matter what's going on around you, and you can honor that connection in that fashion. And as long as you can do that, you can start bringing in a little bit of happiness. There will be moments of happiness, moments of distress, moments of happiness, moments of distress. And that's just how we are as human beings, on, off, and that's the nature of this world. It just goes on for a while, and then we manage to arrest it. It goes on for a while, and then we manage to arrest it. So I guess what I have to do is just remember to draw to that belief in the Spirit. No matter what's going on around me, remind myself of that connection. In the worst turmoil that I'm in, the most distressful times that I'm in, just take a moment to remember that connection to the Spirit and God. And I'll be able to bring a certain amount of happiness into my life, no matter what turmoil is going on around me. And it will give me a belief to keep moving forward, keep trusting that that's what will be in my life. I know a couple of people that are just like that all the time about everything. They're just happy and they don't really care what happens. They keep that happiness in their life. And I hope to strive to be able to do that sometimes, but I'm not there yet. So just take the words that I said and try to embrace the Spirit no matter what's going on. Take time to remember that connection, honor that trust and commitment to God and Spirit, and feel the love that comes back from that. It's unconditional. It never stops. It's only our awareness of it that makes it seem like it's not there. But it's a constant, unending flow to us, whether we're aware of it or not. So take time to put your mind on it, no matter what's going on in your life. Thank you for listening. Ashkin will chair the service from this point forward because I'm going to be doing the lecture and the demonstration. Please stand for the next hymn.
Number 11, Peace Like a River.
I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river in my soul. I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river in my soul. I got love like an ocean, I got love like an ocean, I got love like an ocean in my soul. I got love like an ocean, I got love like an ocean, I got love like an ocean in my soul. I got joy like a fountain, I got joy like a fountain, I got joy like a fountain in my soul. I got joy like a fountain, I got joy like a fountain, I got joy like a fountain in my soul. I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river in my soul. I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river, I got peace like a river in my soul.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our service is comprised of 3 parts. The first is the healing and meditation. Second is the inspirational lecture. And the last portion of the service is the demonstration of spiritual gifts. So we will start with the first portion of the service, which is the healing and the meditation. I would like to ask Judy just get into a comfortable position while you're sitting. Feet straight on the floor, palms up in your lap. Just sit comfortably. Make sure there is no tension on your body. Your muscles are relaxed. You may close your eyes. Taking a few deep breaths. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. With each exhale, let go. If there is any ache or pain in your physical body, let it go with your exhale. Breathe it out. Let go of the thoughts that are on your mind. Again, with your exhale, just breathe it out. Let it go for now. Just bring your awareness to your breath. Focus on your breath. Focus on the mechanism of your breath. Feel the motion of your breath while you breathe in and out. Feel the energy that is flourishing your entire body. Your body is becoming more and more relaxed with each breath. And your mind quiet. No chatter, no interruption. Just engage with the mechanism of your breath. Feel your breath taking you deeper, deeper within yourself. To a very peaceful and quiet space within you. That feels calm and soothing. As you connect with this peaceful space, you let go of your physical body. And you just connect with this peaceful presence. While you breathe in and out, feel this peaceful energy expanding and contracting with each inhale and exhale. As you embrace this peacefulness, you feel the quietness of your mind. You feel your peaceful breath that is flowing from within and without. And you embrace this peacefulness. As you embrace, you become still. Still. In the center of your inner world, not to let anything to interfere. Just sustain in this stillness. For it is in this stillness you experience the greatness of your essence, your spirit. Become aware of your spirit. Feel your awareness expanding and rising and becoming one and in tune with your great spirit that is blending and merging with your higher self, your mighty self, to the presence of God, the omnipresence, the omniscient, the omnipotent. You feel your spirit blending with this great spirit. Breathe in and breathe out and feel the rising and expanding of your awareness of this mighty presence. Feel your awareness rising and shifting and connecting with the universal consciousness, the universal spirit. You feel the greatness of your spirit even more, evolving, expanding, and connecting with this entire universal creation. Feel your connection to all the dimensions of the universe, the galaxies, the stars, the planets. As you once existed in those higher dimensions as a great spirit, as a creative force that was expanding and evolving, creating new realities, new dimensions. Feel your connection to this entire creation. Remember, when you once existed as a pure light, a point of light within a greater light, universal light. That light is the spark of your spirit. Become aware of that light and feel your connection with that universal light. As you observe, you see other points of light everywhere within the dimensions of the universe. Feel the collective consciousness that once existed. That same consciousness is within you. Envision yourself as a human, surrounded with those people with this same consciousness, that you once shared in purity, in perfection, with love. No separation. You were once a unified magnetic field of pure light and love energy. That same light is within you. Become aware. Is this part of your spirit? Your godly self that is within you. Feel that presence. Allow that universal creative power to work through your thoughts. Infinite creativity, infinite potentials. Allow that universal love to share with everyone in your surroundings, and let it even extend further out. Share it with those that you don't know. The love of God is infinite, is unconditional, has the capacity to love everyone without discrimination, without separation, without judging. Feel that greatness love within you, within your consciousness. Feel this pure love embracing, comforting you, healing you. God is love, and love is your essence. Embrace your essence. There is one true power in the universe, and that is the power of love. Embrace to your divinity. Embrace to your spirit the spark of light that is within your soul. Feel the warmth and the gentleness and the comforting. Feel the light within you. See it expand. Beautiful golden light that is filling your entire aura while you are breathing. Feel this light energizing you. Let go and let God to be in charge. With God, all things are possible. Just surrender to the will of God and trust. Have faith. For all your needs are met on all levels. Physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Have faith that you are perfect wherever you are. You are exactly where you need to be at this time. Trust in yourself and to the presence of God within. Embrace. Let go and let God be. In times of need, ask God to give you the serenity to accept the things that you cannot change, and to give you the courage to change what you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Surrender to the will of God. God is perfect, and that perfection is your birthright. Live it wherever you are. Be the light that you are. Be the love that you are. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel the love in your heart expand. Feel the light expanding. And know that you are the light of God that never fades. You are the love of God that never ends. Wherever you are, whatever you do, just be the light that you are. Be the love that you are. Stand tall in your divinity and let your light shine. As you once shined in the higher dimensions of the universe. Let your light shine while you are here on earth as a human, having human experience. That light is always there. And let your light shine. Slowly let go of the light. Know that light is always there. Follow your breath that is bringing you back slowly to the here and now. Become aware of your physical body. Engage with your physical senses. Become aware of your feet, your hands. Come back to the here and now. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and allow these vibrations to integrate wherever you are. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Are we all back? Okay, please stand for the next hymn.
Number 1, Nearer My God to Thee. Nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee, e'en though it be a cross that grazeth me, still my song shall be nearer, my God, to thee, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee. Though like the wanderer, the sun gone down, darkness be over me, my rest assured. Let in my dreams I be nearer, my God, to thee, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee. Lord, if on joyful wings, leaving the sky, sun, moon, and stars forgot, upward I fly. Still all my soul shall be nearer, my God, to thee, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee.
Please be seated. Next portion of our service is the inspirational lecture. And our speaker today is our pastor, Reverend Steve Adkins. He is the pastor and the founder of this church, the People's Church of Divine Prophecy. He has experience that spans over 30 years throughout 2 continents. He is a medium, he is a teacher, he is a physical healer, all of the above. So help me welcome our pastor, Reverend Steve.
Thank you, Ashton. Thank you, everybody, for being here once again. I'm going to speak a little bit today about my personal walk with Spirit and where it's brought me to and the benefits it's done for me. Throughout my life, starting at about age 10 or 11, I started out in parochial school. Immersed myself in Catholicism for a while. And about 17, I became an agnostic with life. I also became a hedonist about that age, but that's what a lot of young people do. That's what being a teenager's for, you know. And as I moved out of that phase, I moved into studying Theosophy, which is an organization that was started by Madame Blavatsky and Colonel Alscott, which is a very old organization, very worldwide, very interesting philosophy. And I finally moved into spiritualism about 30 years ago. Each of these other disciplines, part of it also was Kundalini Yoga, which was taught at that time with a spiritual component to it. It wasn't just exercises and breathing. There was a Buddhist study that went with it. And once I moved into spiritualism, I've been with it since, like I said, about 30 years ago, since about 1985. And I found my way to that while I was recovering from a bout of alcoholism through a group that helps you stop drinking. Their philosophy and the spiritualist philosophy was very similar. And I found out why, because Arthur Ford helped to develop that organization with Bill Wilson. And the philosophies are very similar. You have to have a spiritual awakening in order to stay on the path. You can study, you can read, you can memorize all you want, but without that personal spiritual awakening, you're never going to be able to really grasp it or practice it in your life. As I began to study the tenets of spiritualism, I found that it allowed me to express most of what I believe, not all of it, but it was a philosophy that allowed me to practice almost everything that I believed, and it had components to it that were very agreeable to me. One of them was that it has no doctrine of conversion. It has a doctrine of attraction. As people come to this belief, that it's explained to them. And as a result, spiritualism does not have a claim of exclusivity. We don't say we are the way, we say we are a way. All religions are valid for what they teach, and the people in them will find spirituality and spiritual awakening as much as any other faith. The people to it are the ones that are drawn to that particular belief. That's what spiritualism believes, that there is a thread of truth through all faiths. So we don't have to set ourselves apart or demean other belief systems. We just teach what we believe. It's not a Savior God-based philosophy. We do believe in Jesus. We do believe that Jesus is who he said he was. But we don't believe in his divinity as much as we believe in the humanity of him, what he did on earth, the gifts that he displayed and demonstrated, and stated that all of us are capable of these gifts. So it's the humanity that we embrace as a spiritualist faith. Spiritualism has the Bible as their book, their holy book, because at the time when they were organizing to protect themselves from being prosecuted, persecuted, put in jail, and all other manners of things, they had to become an organized religion rather than just be a loosely knit group of people. So they embraced the Bible, and still today you have to state which holy book is yours, a known holy book. You can't write your own and become a religion. There's many examples of that. Mary Edie Baker has the Bible as a companion book to her faith. The Mormons have the Bible as a companion book to their Book of Mormon. You see that throughout a lot of number of main religions today, where they have to claim a book that is known. They can have a companion book, but they can't claim their book as the religious edict. So spiritualism, being as a lot of more breakaway Methodists claim the Bible, but they claimed it as not as a historical document, but they claimed to follow the tenets of it in a belief and a symbolic representation of the spirit realm. I had quite a discussion about that with the people over in the UK. They didn't quite understand that, but that's the way it is, I guess. It's also a philosophy that people naturally believe. It's not something that is difficult for people to grasp. We believe that there is a spiritual realm and different levels of that realm that you go to. I guess you would call that heaven. You immediately transcend death. You don't go to the grave and wait until some future time to be aware that you're in the spirit realm. Your personality survives, not exactly who you are here, but the basic organization of who you are and what you think about yourself survives the grave. And you still move through the spirit realm, learning things, being exposed to things, and having to make decisions that have benefits or consequences, the equivalent of that in the spirit realm. Now, we don't believe that you walk around up there looking like you did when you were here. It's a dimension that you can only begin to conceive of because you have physical senses. And the spirit realm is far beyond our ability to conceive with our three-dimensional senses. So all we can do is conceive of the things that our mind can grasp and understand. But those are the basic ways. You still move, you still progress in spirit, and you still have decisions to make, the equivalent of decisions to progress spiritually. Not everybody stands on the same step there when they go to the other side of life. The good acts you've done here, the efforts you've made here, allow you to see more levels of the spirit realm than someone who has not. You have more ability to move through that level, the different awarenesses, the different benefits, the different abilities of that level are available to you by the good acts, by the beliefs, by the things that you've done here. We don't give a specific idea of God to people because we encourage them to have a personal experience with their idea of God and be guided by that and be responsible for that belief. We do say that there is an individual single God that is benevolent and loving to the people here, not punishing or judgmental. The different things that we do, contact healing, which you saw here, spiritual healing, and mediumship, which I'm going to do at the end of the service, those two demonstrations demonstrate a particular belief of this system of our religion. It is not the religion. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of people think is the religion. It's a science, a philosophy, and a religion itself. The religion is the philosophy of it. And too many times people don't take time to study the philosophy, which is the greatest thing that it has to offer. It's what saved my life. It's what allowed me to become a reasonably human being. Some people would argue that, but I am reasonably along that path. But it definitely has three components to it. In the outer demonstration, mediumship demonstrates that we immediately survive the grave and that our loved ones can communicate back to us. You don't have to be a medium to communicate with the spirit realm for yourself. It's kind of like being, if you look at it like baseball, anybody can learn the basics of baseball enough to go out there and have fun with it. And that's like people that communicate with their loved ones and their spirit guidance influences. But then you have the professionals that do it to unknown people, to people they've never met. There's different levels of ability there. It all can be used to communicate with the spirit realm and get guidance, but some can do it for others, and some can only do it for themselves or their loved ones. That proves, again, that it's immediate transcendence of the grave. Your loved ones are not in some faraway space. They're as close as your own breath, and you can communicate with them if you choose to. Spiritual healing demonstrates the existence of God, because in spiritual healing, cellular structures changed. Things are changed that are beyond medical science. So it proves a greater intelligence than ourselves, and it proves that it acts in a benevolent fashion towards us through the healing. So that demonstrates our belief that there's a loving God out there that acts benevolently towards us. I keep using the word prove. It demonstrates it because you can't prove anything to anybody. All you can do is demonstrate things and let them make what they will of it. Personal responsibility is the other part of the faith of spiritualism. You're responsible for what you do every time you do it, no matter why you do it. You should balance your actions against your spiritual beliefs. It doesn't mean that you have to act spiritually every time, but you have to be aware of what you're doing and be responsible for it. You can't say, well, they did that, so I did that. That doesn't justify it in the eyes of God. But once again, you have to be responsible. You have to not put yourself into dangerous situations. If you put yourself into a dangerous situation, you can't expect God to keep protecting you every time. You have to be reasonable with how you approach your life. You have to be responsible for how you approach your life. If you keep giving away everything you're ever given, then you're going to end up without sometime. You know, Jesus said, if you have two coats, give one of them away. He didn't say give both of them away and I'll give you another one. You know, you got to be responsible for how you practice your beliefs. And that's why personal responsibility is in that. Because it's not an irresponsible spirituality. You have to make the steps, you have to make the decisions of how to express that, and you are responsible for that expression. You have to honor that which is given to you. You have to celebrate that which was given to you spiritually or materially, and keep what you need to exist. As I said, spiritualism has been that which has managed to make me stay whole. As a Catholic at one time, it wasn't that hard for me to conceive of the concept of a spiritual guide team that works with you. Come back from the other side, not God, but a spiritual team of individuals that inspires you. Some people believe that they're angels. Some people believe that they're their relatives. The Chinese believe in the heritage of the grandfather and grandmothers. It's the same kind of energy that you embrace to receive guidance from personalized spirits on the other side of life that work kindly and happily with you. But once again, you have to be responsible for how you embrace that. Madame Blavatsky, who I talked about, developed Theosophy, brought it back, said that spiritual awakening is a wonderful thing because people begin to embrace spirit. They begin to try to conceive what's taught, inspired to them from spirit. But the downside is what she calls pledge fever. People get into this irresponsible stage where they think everything they think is from spirit, and it's not. You have to be responsible for what you receive, responsible for what you decide to do with what you receive, and act in that fashion. And despite all of this, the other side of this coin of spirituality is the instinctual body that we live in, the animal instincts, the reaction to our environment around us. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, that's what reacts first to the world around us. And I spoke a little bit in my thought for the day about that. You cannot let your immediate reactions to the world determine your spiritual development. We are going to react in a human fashion, an instinctual fashion, which is genetically instilled in us for millions of years of evolution, to things that frighten us, to things that startle us. And we should not knock ourselves down for reacting in that fashion. That is our first reaction level. But with a spiritual discipline, we have the ability to step back and have another reaction after the initial reaction. There's an inherent reaction of all living things on this earth to their environment. And it's beyond our control most of the time to not have that initial reaction of suddenness, of fear, of things that happen to us. But once again, if you have that belief, that firm connection to spirit, there will be a washing in of that grace of God, that washing in of hope, of being able to make more sense out of it. If a shadow of a hawk flies over a small animal and it's brand new to the world, it shudders because it has that initial reaction to that shape. We all have those same ingrained feelings, knowing things, unknown things to us. And the reason that is first and primary is that spiritual thought, spiritual inspiration as it works with us, comes from a higher dimension. Our mind is not of that material as a whole. We have to do daily prayers, daily meditations to remind ourselves of these principles and these philosophies until they become second nature to us, until they begin to become our reaction more than the other. When I was in martial arts for a number of years, they used to teach us 50 or 60 moves repetitively over and over and over and over again. And what happens is when you're in a sudden situation, there's 4 or 5 of those 50 moves that by your own personality you remember and automatically execute by second nature. And that's what happens with spiritual discipline, is you remember this whole plethora of spiritual sayings, of spiritual rules and spiritual laws, and you remember about that much of them automatically. By your personality, who you are, you will remember a handful of them through daily practice of all of them. And that's what we try to do, is to remember those, have that second nature reaction that comes out through a designated spiritual discipline. That's why I strongly encourage you, whether it's Christianity, whatever it is, whether it's spiritualism, that you find an organized religion that you believe that allows you to be most of who you are, and it's taught in a fashion that is kind and gentle, and begin to move along that path of spiritual progression with that organized belief. Because what happens is all organized beliefs have a stepping system, one to the next, where you face different parts of yourself as you unfold. And you face those challenges by those steps. The organization I stopped drinking with had steps, and they had traditions, and you work through those steps, and each step revealed another part to yourself. So it doesn't matter what it is, you should have a system that allows you to move in a progressive fashion up it until you become reasonably spiritually awakened, which I haven't gotten yet after all the years of it, so I still subject myself to a system. These are just some of the thoughts that I hope to share with you. It has given me a tremendous freedom with my life, a tremendous belief beyond which my own mind gave me to believe. For many years, I thought that I was the only authority on my life and that I didn't need anybody else. I didn't need anybody else's thoughts or input, that I could handle everything myself. But I found myself in situations that showed me that wasn't true, and still find myself in those situations today on occasion when I start diverging off of the path that I'm supposed to be on. Everybody's path is not the same. Each path is individual to that person, and you should help people that you can help on their path, not move them onto your path, but help them understand, again, their relationship to God and how God is guiding them. And that's basically what spiritualism tries to do in its final analysis. Any religion can be a trap depending on how you approach it. Any religion can be subjective and difficult. Even spiritualism can be that way. So you have to have the attitude, you have to be responsible for the way that you approach these belief systems. I hope I've given you a little insight into who I am and what I am here today. It's held me in good stead through many major difficulties in my life. Sometimes I choose to be human for weeks at a time, and when I get tired of being like that and tired of being difficult and upset, I get back to my spiritual belief and slowly unwind everything I've managed to put on top of myself. But me and the God of my belief can do that, and that's what you have to embrace. Have that relationship with God. Have that relationship with the higher spiritual realm. And it doesn't matter what else goes on around you. It's like I said earlier in my thought for the day. It's like having a relationship with a loved one. If you and that loved one are on good terms and loving each other, it doesn't matter if the whole rest of the world dissolves around you. You can always draw back to that love and have that love work. And that's the same way with the love of God and love of Spirit. You develop that trust. You develop that connection, that knowingness that it's always there. Only you have to be aware of it. And that will be your port in the storm. That will allow you to find comfort and peace and give you a time out when everything else seems to be falling apart around you. Just remind yourself of that daily. Say, pray in whatever fashion you believe in praying, to be aware of that. And remind yourself, honor that connection, trust that connection, and trust that belief. And you will always find a way that you had never imagined was there. Thank you for listening.